Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. I'm Shana Mostella, and this will be my first storytime video. So this storytime is gonna be about the time Renji woke up in the street in Tokyo after a night of partying and drinking and all that mess. I'm starting with this story as my first story time because it's still fresh in my mind. This was both of our first time going to Japan, and it started off so good. Like, everything about Japan was beautiful. I loved it. So really quick before we get into the story, this is all just what I remember. This is from my account. This is my story from my angle, my perspective. This is what happened during when me and Renji got separated. You guys will understand it in just a moment, but just to clear that up a little bit before we get started. Okay, so without further ado, get your wine, get your snacks, get your beer, whatever you need, and let's get into the story time. Okay, so this day started in Shinjuku. We had tickets to the robot show at the robot restaurant. So Shinjuku, where we were, there's a lot of restaurants, a lot of bars, a lot of cool things to do. So needless to say, we just had a whole first half of the day of just exploring Shinjuku. So the robot show didn't start until about maybe, I want to say 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. The show wasn't starting until a little bit later, so like I said before, there was a whole city for us to explore, so that's what we did. We kind of just like hung around for hours until maybe like 5 o'clock-ish, I want to say. So by then we had already eaten, so now we're looking for some adult drinks, if you know what I mean. So in Japan, they have 7-Eleven, and they also have something similar to 7-Eleven, which is called Lawson's. Because during our whole trip, we had been going to 7-Eleven like any chance we got just to get like alcohol beverages, because they're cheap. They're very, very cheap. There's no open container law, so if you went into like a 7-Eleven to get, I don't know, like a beer or whatever, you can drink it outside. Like, you can take your beverage outside and just drink it. What you can do, however, is walk around with your beverage, or even food. You can't really just walk and eat and walk and drink, you know. You have to kind of like, you can be outside with it and it's no problem, but you just can't walk around with it. So by now, we're already used to doing that. So we saw 7-Eleven across the street, so we went in, grabbed us a couple of Strong Zeros. If you guys don't know what that is, it's more like Japan's version of Four Locos, but just not as dangerous. By now we're both feeling Strong Zero. We got a couple of them. We walked out of the store and just like picked a spot and just, you know, started drinking, talking shit, whatever. So we're waiting for the time to pass by a little bit. By now it was like 2 hours until the show started. So I want you guys to keep track now. This is drink number 1, and we decided to get another one. I want to say maybe 45 minutes had passed, or maybe 45 minutes to an hour had already passed by now after our first drink. So we went inside the 7-Eleven again. So this is drink number 2. So if you guys don't know, the robot show at the robot restaurant is bananas. It's crazy. So our tickets, of course, included 2 free drinks. And really what that's for is if you get there a little bit early, you can go up and enjoy the little bar that they have. But I had known that before we had started drinking Strong Zero, of course, but I just wanted to, you know, I know it was only 1 drink. So I just wanted to, you know, get a few drinks to get it started, to get my, you know, get my buzz started until by the time I get my free drink, I would be set, right? So we're both waiting for the show. This is drink number 3 now, for those of you keeping track. The show was incredible. It was bonkers. I'm gonna put a small little clip here. So after the show, we left the stadium. Right across from the bathroom is the bar. So, you know, I'm like, I could use another drink. I only had 1. I only had a beer, so I'm good for a re-up. There was a English-speaking bartender there. We're gonna call him, for the sake of my video, we're gonna call him Ichigo. Just in case he sees this video, I don't want anyone to be butthurt or nothing. So this bartender, Ichigo, he speaks perfect English, but he sounded Australian for some reason. To be completely honest, like, he had like this Australian twang about his voice. So I'm asking him like, okay, right away I'm like, where are you from? I know you're not Japanese, because your accent's very like, it's different. My name's Ichigo. I'm from Nepal. I'm like, right away, I'm like, Nepal. When you first meet somebody like out of country, or just like in general, you really don't want to pry too much, because his real name, when he told me his name, it didn't sound like, it sounded as if it was a fake name, like, you know, something you just make up on the spot when you don't really want people to know what your name is. It was kind of like that. So then when he said his name, I was already kind of like, okay. And then he said he's from Nepal. Not saying that no one can be from Nepal, but it was just, it was weird. It was odd. Like, you sound like you're from Australia, but your name doesn't sound legit either. Like, what's with this guy? So automatically I'm just like, okay, so I'll just take a shot of tequila if you have any. And you know, so me and Reggie got 2 shots of tequila. This is drink number 4, by the way. So after that, I'm just like, whatever, like, I'm just here for a drink. I'm not here to like talk to you or whatever. So whatever your story is, just do you, boo-boo, do you. When I've been drinking, like, I like to mingle, I like to talk to people. So I kind of just rotate myself to the right, excuse myself. After the show that me and Renji were at the robot restaurant, there was a different show after that. So like all of the customers and everybody else was downstairs already in the stadium watching the show. So I'm like talking to this one guy. I forgot his name. I can't think of his name for the life of me, but we'll call him Ben. And Ben, he told me he was from France. We're just sitting there talking about France for the longest time. And then I hear in like peripheral hearing, him and Ichigo are talking this whole time that I'm over here talking to Ben. So I kind of like tilt my head over. I'm like, what's going on over there? What are they talking about? And then I hear Renji saying something like, oh, you want to go out? Like, are you from here? Let's go out to a bar. Like, let's go hang out. I'm just like, all right. So Ichigo's like, you know, just let me change my clothes. Let me change out of my uniform. After my shift, I only have like maybe 10 minutes here and then I can leave. We waited for him to change his clothes and we just end up leaving. Ichigo goes to change his clothes and then we meet him outside of the restaurant. By now, I want to say it's about roughly 10 or 11 o'clock. Ichigo had reminded us, you know, in Japan, the trains stop running at midnight. So whatever we're about to do, we better like be out until 5 o'clock in the morning. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to head out. So Renji has this bright idea of, you know, maybe we should stay out until 5. Like, we're not doing anything. We're just on vacation. You know, maybe we should just stay out. Like, we've always wanted to do that. Like, just stay out all night and party. We can do that here in Japan. Plus, we have no choice anyway. So let's just stay out until 5 a.m. So Ichigo's like, all right, so that's the plan. So let's move out. Let's head to where all the bars are. And let's hang around here for a little while. If you guys don't like what's here, then we can leave. And I really don't remember when this happened because by now I'm a little bit tipsy, you know what I'm saying? But we're walking around and then I hear somebody say something like, they're calling like a name or like they recognize Renji for some reason. So we look around and there's this group of people and they speak English and they came up to us and like, oh, and they're just talking to Renji and I really, honestly, I don't know what they're talking about. And from what I gathered, that group of people was from Seattle. So they were just like in Japan, just like us, you know, just traveling, whatever. Then they had just got out of the show that was after mine. They were talking to us about, you know, how cool the show was, how amazing and crazy it was. And they're like, oh, you know, John Legend and Chrissy Teigen were just in my show. Like, we saw them right across the stadium and they were like there at the show. And we're like, what? We didn't see them. And we're all like mad and we were talking about that shit for a while. And then we're like, hey, you know, since, you know, we haven't met many English speakers here, like, you want to go have a drink with us and just find out, like, where the party is? And they're like, yeah, sure, as long as we stay in Shinjuku, because we gotta go. Like, we're not trying to stay out all night till 5 o'clock. So we kind of looked around for a bar. Like, we went to this one bar that was kind of nearby. We each had shots, of course. I had tequila. I don't know what anyone else had. I just know when I took my shot, it was tequila. This is drink for me, number 5. At this bar, you know, it was really kind of dead. So we just got our shots and we kind of just like shuffled out, we left. This group that we had just met had said, you know, we want to hang out with you guys, but we kind of just want to go to a restaurant or something, get some food, maybe get some drinks somewhere else. Like, if you guys want to come, you're more than welcome to come, but we really don't want to venture too far from our hotel. So we're like, okay, that's cool. Like, we understand not everybody is as crazy as us. Like, we want to stay out till 5. So I freaking wish we had gone with that group. Let's just keep it like that. Not to forecast too much information. Next time I do something like this, I'm just gonna go and have dinner and be a good little girl. So anyway, back to the story. So the Seattle people left. We went our separate ways. Ichigo got us on a train. We went somewhere else. Like, he was saying how this city called Roppongi was popping. So we're like, okay, what's in Roppongi? And Roppongi is like, I don't know, I don't want to judge, but Roppongi is basically just this big area full of bars, clubs. If you really want to get down, if you really want to party, and you really just want to like bar hop or whatever, Roppongi is the place to go. Now, this is where shit gets a little bit real. If I remember correctly, I think we headed straight to a 7-Eleven to get another strong zero. Okay guys, this is number 6. I think Ichigo had one too. Like, we bought him one. We bought him a drink. We know we're not supposed to be walking around drinking whatever, but we did. We were just walking around. I don't really think anyone cared, to be honest. We're following Ichigo around. He's taking us to these like random bars, whatever. The first one that we went to, I don't remember what it was called, but I do recall there being a stripper pole in there. The place was completely dead. Nobody was in there. So immediately when I see the stripper pole, I'm just like, hey, you know, like just dancing on the pole, whatever, just having fun. And then, you know, I'm trying to like teach Ichigo like how to spin around the pole, like how to do a fireman spin or whatever. This guy, he like, let me explain Ichigo for a minute. Like, this whole time that we were like following him around, he was just, I don't know, he was weird. He was kind of off. You know when you can tell when someone's not all there. That's kind of how I felt. Even as tipsy and as drunk as I was, I could still tell that he wasn't fully there. He was kind of with us and kind of not. It was just strange. So I'm noticing like he's just, you know, kind of just hanging back, being reserved for whatever reason. So I'm just on the like dancing around the pole, trying to get him to like, you know, dance with us and just like be more like open and free and having fun. So I'm like, dude, just do what I do. Like, watch me get on this pole, like watch me spin, and then you do it. Like, I want you to get on there and do it. I just wanted him to have fun. Like, when I'm having fun, when I'm drunk, when I'm tipsy, whatever, I just want everybody around me to have the same amount of fun. And then he just does it, whatever. He's not really, he's like, he's just, I don't know, weird. I'm like, okay, so maybe you need to drink more, because I kind of saw you drinking a little bit. He was kind of sipping on his strong zero. He wasn't really like feeling it too much. So I'm like, maybe he doesn't like it. Maybe he just doesn't like strong zero. So I went up to the bar. I bought all 3 of us shots, and I asked him what he wanted. He didn't really seem like he had any preference. So I'm just like, tequila it is, I guess. For me, you guys are keeping in track, this is shot number 7 for me. By now, Ichigo's, you know, he's a little bit more loose. He's dancing around a little bit. I feel like he's more comfortable now. So now I feel like my job here is done. Like, I've done my part, you know? So we end up leaving that bar. We happen to find this bar called Jumanji. Finally, we find a place where, you know, it's kind of live, it's kind of happening. Let's dance, let's take drinks, whatever. So now at this point, we're at drink number 8 for me. So we get up to the bar, me, Renji, and Ichigo. And I believe Renji bought us the first round of shots, I believe.